Imagine owning a real house in Europe for $10,000. Not a scam, not a fixer-upper fantasy, real stone walls, real deeds, and a price tag that feels like a typo. While Americans fight over $500,000 homes, Portugal's quietly selling off entire villages for less than a used car. But here's the twist. The reason they're so cheap isn't what you think. Some towns will pay you to move in. Others are haunted by heat, crumbling roofs, and laws older than the country itself. By the end, you'll see why these fairy tale homes are both a dream and a trap. Like and subscribe. This might just be your escape plan disguised as a YouTube video. Castro Laboreiro, the stone village that time forgot. Your GPS will stop working before you even see it. That's how remote Castro Laboreiro is. One minute you're driving through winding pine roads, the next your phone says good luck, and the signal disappears into the mist. But when you finally reach it, you'll think you've stepped into a painting. Perched high in Portugal's northern mountains near the Spanish border, this tiny village of about 500 people looks like time hit pause a few centuries ago. Stone cottages cling to the hills, medieval bridges still stretch across icy streams, and ruins of a 10th century castle guard the valley like a silent watchman. You can buy one of those weathered stone homes for around $9,000 to $11,000. Less than a used Honda Civic. The cost of living is about 40% lower than Lisbon, though winter drops to 20 degrees Fahrenheit and the nearest grocery store is 20 miles away. Locals say, when it snows you bake bread and wait. Your Amazon driver probably quit halfway up the mountain. Still, it's hard to complain when fog drifts across the granite rooftops, church bells echo through the valley, and the view looks like it belongs in a Tolkien novel. If you think that's remote, wait till number 9, where even the goats get ocean views. Vidamonte, the Swiss Alps on a yard sale budget. It looks like the Swiss Alps, but your wallet thinks it's a yard sale. Welcome to Vidamonte, a mountain village tucked in Portugal's Guarda district, resting on the slopes of Serra da Estrela, the country's highest mountain range. Here, crisp air smells like pine and wood smoke, and the silence feels expensive. But the homes aren't. You can snag a stone house for around $8,000 to $10,000, or rent a small place for about $220 a month. Locals still gather at the single cafe that doubles as a gossip hub, where coffee costs $1 and everyone knows which goat wandered off last night. Winters are brutal. Ice forms on window frames, and your commute might involve brushing snow off a chicken coop. But the pace? Peaceful. One local joked, "We don't lock doors, nothing worth stealing." Your alarm clock here isn't digital, it moves. When the snow melts, the whole valley changes color. Gray stone turns golden, rivers wake up, and smoke from chimneys hangs like a watercolor sky. It's a postcard you get to live in for the price of a new iPhone. But what if you want your $10,000 house came with ocean views? Wait till we go to the next town. Piodo, Portugal's prettiest ghost village. If fairy tales had Wi-Fi problems, they'd look like Piodo. Hidden deep in Portugal's Serra do Açor mountains, this tiny UNESCO-listed shale village looks frozen in time. A cluster of blue-gray stone houses stacked like dominoes against the cliffs. Locals call it the village that forgot the 21st century. And honestly, they're not wrong. You can still buy a small side lane house here for around $9,500 to $12,000, though it'll need a little love. And probably new plumbing. Groceries cost about 30% less than in Lisbon, and the local bakery still sells bread the same way it did a century ago. The trade-off? Narrow roads, no parking, and stairs. So many stairs. One local laughed, "Every errand is a workout. Your milk gets 10,000 steps before you do." But it's hard to complain when the payoff is watching sunlight turn the slate rooftops gold at dusk. At night, warm lamplight spills over the cobblestones, wrapping the village in a quiet glow. It's perfect for writers, painters, or anyone tired of city chaos. The kind of place where solitude feels luxurious and time politely slows down. And if you think this ghost village feels ancient, wait till number 7, where the medieval walls aren't just history, they're still holding up houses. Sortelha, the village the century forgot. The road to Sortelha twists through quiet hills and empty fields. Halfway there, your phone loses signal and all that's left is wind and stone. At the top of the ridge, the village appears. A circle of granite walls and towers from the 12th century, still standing strong after 800 years. Here, you can buy a small stone house for around $8,000 to $10,000, or rent one for about $200 a month. Life is cheap, but not always easy. Winter nights are freezing, and the nearest supermarket is 25 miles away. Locals say the wind still tells old stories, and when it blows through the castle gate, it really does sound like whispers. Inside the walls, time moves slowly. Narrow alleys, stone arches, and quiet squares fill the view. Fixing up a house here takes patience, maybe a hammer, and probably a prayer. Still, mornings here feel like something out of a lofi cottagecore video. Smoke drifts from old chimneys, a rooster shouts at the mist, and someone's radio hums softly from behind a wooden door. The stone glows gold under the first light, and the whole village feels like it's just waking up from a long dream. You might see an old man leading goats through the gate, or a cat stretched across a warm windowsill. And if you think this place feels too old, wait until you see the next town, where the streets are older than the country itself. Castro Daire, where goats have better real estate than you. Welcome to Castro Daire, where the scenery looks like a screensaver and the property prices feel like a typo. For around $7,000 to $9,000, you can snag a small stone house with views of rolling green hills and fog that drifts in like dry ice at a high school play. Rent's about $230 a month, and the cost of living runs roughly 35% cheaper than Lisbon. The town sits in the Viseu district, famous for its natural hot springs that bubble up between fields. You'll see steam rising from the ground on cold mornings, like the earth itself's making coffee. Locals swear the water can fix your back, your skin, and maybe your bad decisions. But don't expect city life. The internet's slow, jobs are few, and rush hour means 2 tractors and 1 confused chicken. One resident laughed, "We fix roofs, not boredom." Still, the peace sneaks up on you. Old churches ring at sunset, mist rolls over the valleys, and the streets glow soft orange under the lamps. It's quiet, warm, and weirdly comforting, like the town's giving you a hug. And now we head south, to a place where desert heat meets Moorish walls. Mertola, a Moorish river town where silence is luxury. In Mertola, the silence isn't empty, it's golden. This old Moorish town sits high above the Guadiana River, right near the Spanish border, where the hills glow like toasted bread under the Alentejo sun. For around $9,000 to $11,000, you can buy a whitewashed house that looks straight out of a postcard. If the postcard came with 100 degrees Fahrenheit summers and 0 nightlife. Mertola has history layered like an archaeological cake. Romans, Visigoths, and Moors all called it home, and the 12th century castle still watches over the river like it's waiting for another invasion. The narrow lanes twist past blue-trimmed doors and tiled fountains, ending in quiet courtyards where time moves slower than the Wi-Fi. Rent runs around $250 a month, groceries are cheap, and the air smells like olive trees and sunburn. Locals joke, peace comes with heat stroke. They're not wrong. Your phone will overheat before your coffee cools. Still, there's a charm to it. At sunset, golden light slides across the white walls. The river turns bronze, and everything falls quiet. No traffic, no noise, just heat, history, and stillness. And now we're going to the next town. Same sun, but higher altitude. Marvão, a castle-top town where clouds are neighbors. Perched on a granite peak near the Spanish border, Marvão feels like a town built for giants. Its 13th century walls curl around narrow streets, whitewashed homes, and tiny plazas where locals meet for coffee strong enough to wake the dead. You can buy a house here for around $9,500 to $10,500 or rent one for $210 a month, cheaper than your Netflix subscription and with better views. The town has about 3,000 residents, most of whom have learned that living at 2,000 feet means you really do live above the weather. Access roads twist and turn, steep enough to make a goat nervous. Winters are chilly, fog rolls across the battlements, and even pigeons seem to pause for oxygen breaks. Locals joke, "We live above the weather." And honestly, the view makes up for any frostbite. From sunrise, the valley below glows gold, and clouds drift past your window like neighbors dropping by uninvited. The castle towers guard the town silently, reminding you that this place has survived centuries of invasions, wars, and tourists with selfie sticks. The next stop takes us even deeper into Portugal's past. A town where every street corner whispers stories older than most countries, and the air itself feels like it's holding its breath. Trás-os-Montes, buy a whole street for the price of a used Civic. Welcome to Trás-os-Montes, the rugged northeast of Portugal where olive groves stretch to the horizon and the wind seems to own the valleys. For around $8,000 to $10,000, you could buy an entire stone house, or, if you're ambitious, a whole row of them. Rent runs about $160 a month, and the cost of living is roughly 45% cheaper than Lisbon. The villages here are small and quiet. Services are limited, internet is spotty, and locals speak with a thick accent that even Google Translate gives up on. One resident joked, "Here, the wind's your neighbor." And honestly, it's not far from the truth. Ruined barns dot the hillsides, church bells echo across valleys, and granite walls glow pink in the sunset. Life moves at its own pace. Mist curls over olive trees in the morning. Goats wander along crumbling walls, and the wind hums through the mountains at night. It's perfect for anyone who likes peace, wide open skies, and a little adventure. City chaos feels a world away, and whether that's bliss or challenge depends on your personality. The isolation is part of the charm. Groceries might be miles away, but space, quiet, and front-row sunsets come free. Next, we reach a town so close to Spain you could literally wave at your neighbor across the border. Alcutim. Algarve, living for less than a used sedan. Algarve usually screams beaches, resorts, and prices that make your wallet cry. But Alcutim flips the script. This riverside town sits on the Guadiana River, literally across from Spain. Homes here go for $9,000 to $11,000, with rentals around $280 a month. Cheaper than a weekend in Miami, and with way better scenery. The town is small, maybe 1,300 people, pastel-colored homes stacked along narrow streets, and a hilltop castle watching over everything since the 13th century. Shops are few, city permits take forever, and the sun hits hard. Winter temps still hover around 65 degrees Fahrenheit, making flip-flops essential almost year-round. Locals have a casual relationship with borders. One says, "Spain's across the river. We wave daily." And if you forget, you can literally paddle over in a kayak in 5 minutes. Just don't expect your Wi-Fi to keep pace. You'll reach Spain faster than a stable internet signal. Life here moves slow but colorful. Cicadas buzz in the trees, water shimmers in the sun, and rooftops glow in pastel shades at sunset. Mornings smell of fresh bread from the single bakery. Afternoons hum with the distant clatter of riverboats, and evenings bring a quiet you can almost touch. Alcutim is perfect for someone chasing charm over convenience, a place where your coffee break might include a view of a castle and a Spanish neighbor waving hello. If you think that's wild, wait until you see number 1, a town literally carved into stone where history didn't just stick around, it lives inside the walls. Monsanto. A $10,000 home wedged between giant boulders. Welcome to Monsanto, officially crowned the most Portuguese village in Portugal. Perched on a rugged hill in Idanha Nova, this UNESCO-listed gem isn't just a village. It's a maze of granite boulders, narrow cobblestone streets, and homes literally built into the rocks. Houses sell for around $9,000 to $12,000, and rentals hover near $240 a month. For that price, you get history, charm, and a serious calf workout every morning. The village earned UNESCO status because it's a perfect example of medieval rural architecture adapted to its landscape. Ancient chapels peek from between boulders, windmills perch along ridges, and locals celebrate the Festa das Chocoladas, a festival where cowbells fill the streets in spring, marking the start of the agricultural year. Every stone seems to whisper old stories, from battles with Castilian invaders to legends of knights hiding under massive rocks. Life here isn't easy. Steep paths and strict restoration laws make any renovation a slow battle. Few young people stick around, so if you're thinking about retirement, this is paradise. If you're young, it's a fast track to early gray hairs. One local laughs, "The rocks decide who stays," and after hauling groceries up granite stairways, you start to understand. Every home improvement is a boss fight. Tighten that roof tile wrong, and gravity will have the last laugh. Still, the rewards are amazing. Sunsets melt over granite rooftops, church bells echo through the valley, and the entire village glows like a lo-fi painting at dusk. You wake to goats clattering over boulders, sip coffee where kings might have walked centuries ago, and feel time slow to a human pace. Monsanto shows that in Portugal, fairy tale homes come cheap. But with charm comes challenge. History comes with steps, and every $10,000 house hides a story waiting for you to discover. And with that, our tour of 10 Portuguese towns where $10,000 still buys you a home comes to an end. Each one a mix of beauty, quirks, and fine print you'll either love or curse. Portugal's $10,000 towns prove you don't need $1 million to live like a movie. Just courage, sunscreen, and a power drill. Each village has its quirks, from frozen mountain mornings to riverside sunsets, but they all share the same charm. History carved in stone, streets that whisper stories, and views worth every step. These towns aren't dying. They're waiting for new stories, new lives, new chaos in slow motion. So which one calls you, the misty mountains or the sun-soaked riverbanks? Drop your thoughts in the comment. Like this video if you've ever searched cheap house in Europe. And subscribe. This channel's your break glass in case of boring life kit.